Support for this podcast comes from the patrons at patreon.com/FMLFPL.
Okay! Welcome to FML, I'm Alon.
It's Walsh.
So we're back. It's not necessarily great to be back, but things happen. It's interesting. There's things to talk about. Game week 1, it's in the books. What's up?
Yeah, we have 8 games down. I mean, I want to talk about Peacock, but I also don't want to talk about Peacock. For those of you who don't live in the United States, it's just this new nightmare in the American colonies.
That's by far the worst development of the season, right? Like, people don't understand. It's
bad. It's really
actually
bad.
People do understand because most of our listeners are in UK.
Yeah, we're double paying cable and this other bullshit that NBC created to watch games 2 minutes delayed.
Yeah, so basically. We can't even participate.
And I can't watch it on TV. It's not on TV.
Discord.
Yeah,
we can't.
You can only watch it on your computer on the phone. It's fucking insane.
Yeah, on the phone. That's where I'm gonna fucking watch. So, game week 1 pod. What a weird thing, but. You made some interesting calls on your team.
A lot of different calls.
My
team.
From our Thursday pod to like where our teams actually ended up, there are probably a billion changes. I made a lot. I don't think people
realize like what happens here when it's like the day before the deadline, game week 1 every year. It's just complete mayhem for me.
Yeah,
I was sweating. I have tabs. Everything's upside down.
Yeah, I made so many changes and started with guys that there were no chance of me starting with. I
think I made like 7 or 8 changes to my team the day before the deadline. For what I had for like 2 weeks.
I mean, my biggest problem, and it's been a problem for years, is just like not listening to your advice, like the pod, what we say on the pod. Not translating to the moves I make to my team. And making a billion moves on deadline day is very exemplary of that.
But that's like a yes and a no thing, because, I mean, I did the same thing, and I ended up captaining Mo when he wasn't on my team for like 3 weeks. I mean, we talked a lot about... Friday night, me and you were talking a lot about a bombs and Liverpool captain, just what we thought the game would look like. And, I mean, Anfield wrap. I don't... give a shit about Liverpool. They could finish fucking 21st in the division. I don't care. The pod is just ridiculous in quality. And they have these shows that they have like a Friday. It's like same as us, like $5 a month or something. But they have these shows that just talk about all the teams, all the games and everything. And then when they were talking about Liverpool and then they had the Arsenal guy and like talking about the Fulham stuff, like they know what they're talking about to me. And I really trust and like the thought processes of these guys on the pod. And when I started thinking more about what we talked about last season about captaincy, of thinking more also about the opposition and what the game's going to look like, and not just like, bottom 3 team, like auto cap. Like it's not, that's not the right thing to me. It's more thinking about, okay, well, we talked more about Fulham. Yes, they have bad individual players, but they're going to be parked. And Arsenal already baseline don't create that many chances. So, I mean, they did score 3, but it's certainly not what I was really thinking of in the game when I really started thinking more about it. Mm-hmm. And we talked about the Liverpool game, about like Leeds and Bielsa just doing what he did, just what we expected them to do, and that it would be really open. Like, okay, got it. Like Mo got 2 pens and he had the worldie, but he could have had that in open play. I mean, he looked ridiculous. He had like 9
His
shots
stats
or whatever.
Were fucked.
Yeah, he looked great.
Ridiculous.
So, I mean, we took that into account. We both captained a Liverpool player. I got Mo and you were on Mane instead of Obbs, which is what we were talking about, right? So, I mean, you just took the left winger instead of the right winger there.
I took the L instead of the dub. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what to say about that. I've never gone Mane over Mo in my life. Actually, both of us have basically never done that, right? And we
did a little bit last year.
I didn't, though. I don't remember even owning Mane.
I had Mane for a good portion last year because of what we were talking about on the pod, and it was fine.
Yeah. And so I was just like, it was me just kind of being like, fuck it, they're both world class. Mixed with, I always go Mo, mixed with Mo has been bad for like 3 months. Like, it wasn't just preseason, it was also the end of last season. He was, like, not on it, you know?
Yeah.
It happens. 2 pens.
Yeah.
I mean, there were times in recent seasons where they just don't get a pen at Anfield all season. So, like...
They had 3 last year.
Yeah, I mean, what the fuck am I supposed to do, you know?
No, it's totally defense. I mean, that's like, both are fine.
Just,
there's no...
I'm more happy that we diagnosed the correct match to captain somebody from, than, you know what I mean? Like, if I capped...
Obbs had, like, 1 shot.
Yeah, if I capped Obbs, sure, I'd be on more points, whatever. But that would be me not backing myself to be like, no, Liverpool is the game where there's going to be a lot of goals and a lot of chances. Yeah. So I'm more happy with that, but obviously, you know, 39 points and 3.9 million rank is not exactly where I wanted to start.
Yeah. So why don't we just go through our teams first, because we don't have anything close to the same team.
Yeah, and for new listeners, I mean, we never spend this long on our teams, but Game Week 1, so people don't even know who we have.
Yeah, other than today, and then I guess when we wild card, we won't spend this much time on our teams, but we're just going to talk more through the process, I think, of why we landed where we did with our players.
Yeah, I can start. So I started McCarthy, Walton,
dude.
So good.
Fucking Bill Walton. Just waking up and seeing
Instant
a red flag on Bill. I looked at my team. I was like, I thought I clicked the wrong button, or like the thing was broken or whatever. And I refreshed it like 4 times. And I looked and I was like, what the fuck is this?
Just starting off the season with a hidden injury that's probably out for like long term and unknown return. It's just classic FPL. But yeah, so whatever. Fuck it. Started with McCarthy, who I'd been on all summer without much thinking about it. He was fine. They conceded a lot of chances to Palace, which wasn't fine, but whatever. I'm just fucking rolling with it. In the back, I ended up on Trent and Robbo.
So how did you get to Robbo?
It ended up, it was the very last thing I did, and I ended up with James in a 3-4-3. Yeah. And I just got cold feet, and I was just like, okay, James is not much of a goal scorer. You know, he used to be, but like that's not really the thing that he's really good at, is creating and passing. And so I was thinking, like, okay, what's his upside? Like double-digit assists, a few goals or something like that. He might not even start in what's a bad fixture. And then I was
surprised he started.
Yeah, and then I'm like, okay, and then what's Robbo? Like, Robbo's double-digit assists, a few goals on the best defense in the league. I'm like, why would I go James over Robbo? It's more of like a long-term pick, you know? It's
Yeah,
it's more of like, I would want that more on wildcard, but it was more just me just getting cold feet. That more than anything was that.
All right.
He got an assist in the end.
Yeah, no, he got 4 points. Yeah, points fine.
Not bad. So Trent, Robbo, and then 2-4-5s and Shaw. So Justin, I just like the fixtures. He's good at attacking. KWP, also decent fixtures, also good at attacking. And then Shaw has ridiculous fixtures and gets forward. So Justin and KWP. I know. Don't hook that. But Justin and KWP actually rotate really well. So it's still the 4 at the back that I was originally... I've been on like 4-3-3 this whole summer, basically. So it's just them 2 rotating, and then 3 like really good picks who I start every week, basically, in the other slots. My 3 midfielders are Mane, lol, at me, Pulisic, lol, at me, and Ollie, lol, at me. I mean, it's just... When I talked at the beginning about not backing myself, picking guys, I mean, Ollie, I don't know. I don't know what to say about him. He's a fucking joke. Mourinho's a joke. Mourinho didn't have enough time to train with his players. That's the big reason why they lost. I don't know. Hooked on 45, then immediately thrown under the bus after the game from Moo. It just feels like a Pogba situation or something. I'm like, you figured out which guy you're gonna like publicly destroy every week. I guess he's moved on from Ndombele. He's not a big enough figure.
Danny Rose didn't give him a squad number, so that was done.
It's got to be an English international young kid to pick on. Like he wasn't.
He was also good. and then they subbed him, and they were fucking dog shit in the second half.
Yeah, it's. I heard one of the Spurs guys on a different Anfield Rap show who was saying like he thought that Ali was their worst attacker, which I don't necessarily disagree with. I think Son and Kane were really good, but he wasn't the worst in terms of like movement and what he was doing and pressing and like being in the right areas. He just, some shit didn't come off, you know, and like to hook him at halftime for Sissoko, who can't do any of the things Ali can do. It's just like, fuck this guy, fuck this fucking game.
I understand. He's like, okay, midfield like wanted some more, you know, fortitude there, but they were dominating. Like the goal was coming for them. They were doing the typical Moo thing of just conceding possession and countering, and they had way better chances in the first half than
real
Everton.
Chances.
Everton were like playing those nice passing triangles and shit and having the ball a lot, and they looked cool, but they didn't create shit. And
they had like the one Richarlison like howler moment.
Yeah, but
like when he was through on goal or whatever.
Yeah, but that's typical. I mean, that's
I'm just saying, like that's
I know.
Like,
right.
Yeah,
so,
no, there was the Son to Kane, like an inch away. There was the Doc chance, which was by far the best chance of the game.
A huge chance.
Like, just there was shit happening. I mean, and then Ollie had a good shot too that Pickford made a good save on.
Yeah, that Son slid him in it. Yeah, it was just.
I mean, so needless to say, I mean, like Ollie very much on the chopping block for me, and then Pulisic. So fucking stupid. I mean, in hindsight, I probably would have gone Kai instead of him, who played right back today and didn't do anything close to scoring FPL points. But why am I going with the guy who's not even 100% fit? It's ridiculous. I said on the podcast, Kai, I think, is the best guy of all the midfield, of all the Chelsea guys. And then I go Pulisic. I just, like, talk myself into this stupid-ass shit. And now... is he even going to play Liverpool? Like, we don't know. Apparently, he felt something in training that Lamps just didn't tell us about. He always feels something.
He's definitely not going to play.
All he feels are things, you know? He has no other feelings. So, I don't know. It's horrible.
That's a problem.
I have two major problems in my team already, which is just classic FPL. And then forwards were good. I mean, Werner got the assist and was the only attacking player Chelsea had on the pitch today. He also maybe has a dead leg or something, but it's hard to imagine him not starting against Liverpool.
He played a half. He was fine.
And then DCL, very active, insane header in the worst of their fixtures. You know, so they have West Brom, Palace, Brighton coming up, so that's pretty good. And then I have Tony, who I've been on all summer.
Tony.
So
Tony's good.
You know... Pretty bad.
Ups and downs.
Pretty bad. My ups are like, I have Tony and Shaw coming in, but I have to do something with like Ollie and Pooley and then Mane playing Chelsea. It's not great.
I think you're either hitting or wildcarding. You're either hitting Ollie and Pulisic out or you're wildcarding, I think, is what you're doing.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't put that much thought in this because I haven't wanted to think about FPL, but... if I was gonna wildcard it, I just feel like Game Week 3 is so much better.
Yeah.
With the better City fixture and the run of Wolves fixtures beginning then, and you know, team
hitting Ollie and Pulisic out will probably shore you up pretty good.
Yeah, and just roll Mane one bad fixture.
Yeah, just keep Mane.
It's horrible. I'm stupid. It sucks. Go on. What's your team looking like?
So I did pretty good. I got 80. Captain Mo. Basically the thing that happened for me on the day before the deadline was like, what do I need to do? What are the bad outcomes game week 1 that I'm not going to want to kill myself in wildcard game week 2? So all I was doing was preparing against that, like creating the options in my mind and doing the thing that was not like, I'm going to need to wildcard.
So what does that mean? I don't know what that means.
So I had all these 4-5s, and I had Trent and 4-4-5s in defense for 2 weeks. Yeah, and I didn't like any of the 4-5s. I didn't want to hide a Burnley guy. I was like, this is dumb. It's not worth it. I didn't want KWP because I'm like, I don't know, fucking Southampton, whatever. Yeah. I just didn't want any of the 4-5. I didn't want a Leeds guy because I don't know what the hell they're up to. I don't want like a Brighton guy who maybe gets rotated. They have 7,000 defense. It's just I'm looking at all that shit. So I'm like, I don't want to spend transfers in defense. And if I pick 4-4-5s and I don't like 2 of them or something after a week and the performances are bad, I'm just going to be like, my defense is horrible.
Yeah.
And I didn't want that. So instead I just got Dyer, Shaw, and 2 4-0s. And I'm just starting the 3 of them, Trent, Dyer, Shaw, every week, not thinking about it, not rotating, spending the same amount of money. And, you know, I had 10 men this week. Spoiler alert. So, so I was like, I don't care about the bench. And so already I'm like, all right, I'm doing that thing.
You'll take 10 men and 80 points every week.
Exactly.
You just got to captain a hat trick every week. It's
exactly.
fine.
So I'll just keep doing that. But you know, I was just like, I don't fucking care about the bench. I mean, I'll have Mitchell on the bench now and Shaw, whatever. I just didn't care. And so that's what I did there. But that's what I was thinking of. Like, if I have these 4-5s, I'm chopping and changing. I was spending so much time looking at them all.
Yeah.
And I'm just thinking, like, this is a mess. Like, I don't want any of these players. So I just went to the 5-0s and I was like,
I like it.
I don't have to think about it. Like, go and
so you think Ferguson's going to start, you said? Like, when eventually?
It might not be till December. I don't know.
Right,
I mean, the kid's hurt. Like, he could legitimately not play till December. But I just put Ferguson in with Mitchell because I was like, you know, I have Palace kits to look at in my team. But
yeah, that's fun.
He is a long-term starter, but again, it could be in 3 months. We have no idea. So that's my defense there. And then, midfield. So I put Mo back in, and right, basically it was, we just talked more about it. And I was looking at, you know, when I had Bruno on the bench for so long, and I was just thinking, I was like, this is what will make me wild card, is like, I get off to a bad start game week 1 because I'm benching a premium player. And then, like, a couple picks don't fire, and then, you know, game week 2, my guy, like, it's a lot of pressure to get points to make up for the points I didn't get game week 1.
Yeah.
So I was just like, this is a mess. So it was like, Shaw, fine, like, whatever. Like, a defender, it doesn't matter. I play Mitchell. But I just decided, like, I'm not going to bench an attacker. It's like getting too cute for me, and I'm just going to pick the players who are good and who play. So I just put Mo back in with Obbs, and I mean, the really only reason I kept Obbs, because we talked about not having both 12s, is I'm definitely captaining him against West Ham this week. So if I wasn't, like, convinced to do that, then I probably wouldn't have had Obbs, and I would have spread that around. But
not going with Obbs, I mean, I agreed with my decision initially, but then, like, Palace looked so competent, which, you know, I maybe underestimated Wood, but the backline on paper is so fucking bad that I thought it would be bad. But now I'm like, because I was originally thinking, like, oh, I'm going to captain Tony game week 2. I love that. But now it doesn't look as good, so I need to figure out, like, what I'm going to do Obless, because I think that's most people's plan is capping him in this difficult week. Yeah. So I had them, and then, I mean, Havertz and Werner I didn't play with. They're still in, and I mean, the reaction to the Chelsea, like, the Havertz is too much for me. I'm sure we'll talk about that. And then, I mean, DCL, he came in. He was lively, you know. I mean, Everton will take some time, but 8 points, you love to see that. And then, I mean, this was the thing that was keeping me up, like, past my bedtime, was these last 2 attacking spots. So I ended up with Jota and Trossard, who we didn't really talk about at all in the pod. Not for more than
5 seconds.
Yeah.
So I had them, and then Brewster I have as my forward. So I had, you know, 2 midfield spots and a forward spot, and I had, like, 2 mid-price players of anyone. It could have been a forward and a mid, or 2 mids, right? So basically what I was looking at, I was still looking at Wilf a lot, and I was like, okay, well, if I have Wilf, then I would probably have to go with Souček, and I didn't want that.
Yeah.
And then I was looking at, like, Bowen for a while, and I just kept thinking of, like, oh, well, they're on play on West Ham, and that's bad. So I didn't want a West Ham player. Right. And the forwards, like, I didn't really believe in Callum. I never have, and I was impressed with him, and I'm sure we'll talk about him later too. But basically, what I was looking at was, like, Wood. I was thinking about maybe hiding Wood, but then I would have to start a really bad 4-5 guy, which, you know, would have been okay. But Jota, I landed on Jota because I was digging so deep to make a case for potence, and every time and everywhere I looked was like, Jota's in the team. Like, Jota's in the team. Yeah. He was in every single expected lineup I saw. Every single one. 100%.
Wow.
Literally 100%. He played in Portugal. I think he scored for Portugal. Like, he's 6'5" back playing reverse out of position, right? I mean, this is what we last 2 years ago, he was this position, and we were like, oh, he's great. Yeah. And then last year went to forward, and we're like, oh, he sucks. And so now he's back. Like, this was like the post-type sleeper thing.
Yeah, I mean, we did talk about him versus, like, there would be value somewhere on the forward line. We just didn't know who was nailed and whatever.
Yeah. But, I mean, that's kind of what I was thinking. I was like, okay, well, he's only 6'5". That's not expensive. He plays on a good team, and I just expected him to just start like back to 65, 70-minute, games,
Yeah.
And same with Trossard. It was like he's playing out of position striker in preseason, and I always kind of liked him. And, they're the two kind of players where I'm looking at all the players in that price bracket just thinking, okay, I'm going to do something with OBS after game week 2, and I'm probably going to not have either. I'm probably going to take one of these two out after game week 2.
Yeah.
I'm looking like, okay, Jota had a good fixture game week 1. Trossard is a good game week 2 fixture. So I'll give them both 2 weeks. They could both be playing up top, and then I'll see what to do with them. So, it half worked. Trossard came in with a really lucky goal. But
it was like a Kepa goal, though.
Yeah, it was a Kepa goal. But, I mean, he didn't have another shot. I mean, he was Brighton were, I don't know what to make of it. But so that's what I was thinking with them. And, I'll see. I'm gonna keep Jota next week. I'm gonna probably save this week, so I'm gonna keep them both next week and just see what they look like, and then with 2 frees, I'll just reassess with OBS and shit. So I'm happy with the team. I mean, I got a lot of points, so that's a good thing you like to see.
What if Mane hat-tricked and Mo blanked?
I'd be sad.
It's funny how that dictates things.
Yeah, it's funny how getting 40 points or 4 points.
It's funny how one player outscored my entire team, and you're happy with your team, and I'm not happy with my team.
I mean, it's captain. This was what was it? It was like game week 31 plus last year. We're just like, you know what? That's the only really thing that matters.
Yep, it was rough for me, but I gotta say, like, waking up at 7 a.m. on Saturday and 9 a.m. on Sunday and putting it on and all that shit was good to be back.
Yeah,
that felt
it was
good.
It was really good to watch.
And getting to watch every match is underrated. Like, I watched every single fucking match, 0 to 90, ridiculous.
Yeah, it's great.
All right, so let me housekeeping. Shout out to the FMLPL Prize League Mug League leader for September, Game Week 1 leader. AFTV HR department, aka Edmund Cuthbert, and then he
Arsenal Fan TV Human Resources.
That's his team name. And then he's also the head of the public league, so he's just flying right now, outer space flying. Edmund Cuthbert. All right, moving on. So. I don't know where to start, man. I feel like at the beginning of the season, without things like developed and like all that
I think
shit,
that's where to start, because
where's what to say.
We just saw 8 games of like 1,000 games, right?
Yeah.
And everyone's sitting here. I know this for sure. Like, I know that this is the right thing. I know that this player's the best player.
This guy's the captain.
That this was yeah. It's frustrating because I get it that it's part of human nature to do that, but it's not being you're not being honest, and you're not being reflective of critical thinking and what the process is. If you watch one game, you can't definitively say anything. We definitively know that we know very little right now. And when you're talking about things or you're viewing things, make sure that you're viewing it through that lens, It's still a subjective opinion based on a very small piece of information, one small tiny data point. It's not like we're fucking sitting here. I'm like, dude, you're a fucking idiot that you got Mane, I have Mo. Like, you're dumb. Like, how could you have done? Like,
so
people
insane.
Are saying that though.
No, I know,
and it's really.
How could you go Mane over Mo?
It's not cool. Like, it's not a cool thing. It's not cool.
I know. Well,
you don't treat people that way. You don't talk to people that way. It's not respectful.
Long-time listener, friend of the pod, Desert Bugs question was, is there anything you can actually learn from Game Week 1? Or is it all just knee-jerk bullshit variants that is best ignored? And that really sums it up.
Well, I think like that's the thing, right? So what do you take away from Game Week 1?
It's where we should go. Yeah.
It's not to say, oh my God, Willian 3 assists, like fucking obvious pick. He's whatever. Like, okay, cool. He got some assists. It's fucking Willian. He's been in the league for 30 years and he never gets more than like 8 and 8. So the thing that you want to see is similar, especially this year with no preseason, right? Is that, who's playing where, like what positions are players taking up, like who's parked, who's playing counterattacking, like what are the formations, like that's the shit, right? Like we're watching Fulham and West Brom. Fulham's parked with shitty players. West Brom's playing a fucking 4-5-1. Like they're trying to counter, but they have shitty players. Okay, they're bad. Both of those teams are bad. And those are teams to exploit, right?
Yeah, like Leeds, one of the preseason pods, we were talking about like the idea of waiting what we project a team to be or a player to be with the early season data, because the early season data is not enough to like build on, right? And so, but when they line up, you become more confident in something. Like we came into the season with Fulham and West Brom are the worst 2 teams in the league. They weren't even that good in the championship. They're odds-on favorites to go down. Let's see what they do. And then they're both horrible. Like disgusting, really bad. Nothing to show for. So we're like, okay, that matches up.
That checks out. Right. But, it's just broadly. We could go game by game, and we're not going to do that. But, it's just looking for, you watch the games, and you take what you can from them of like, okay, that's interesting. Or, I didn't think about that. Or, oh, yeah, this is similar to what I was thinking about beforehand. Like, I'm going to keep an eye on that, right? But, you don't go into this after, you get, a Saiss, like, oh my God, how did you pick a different 5 million defender than Saiss? He was obviously, like, how'd you take Cody instead of Saiss? Like, Saiss's attacking stats is so, it's like, but that's like, people are doing that. And it's so infuriating because that doesn't create a positive community. Like, the community, we love the playing FPL because it's like chess. Like there are infinity amount of variables that, we all like to talk about the different options and shit. But when people start talking about their subjective opinion as objective fact, like that's how they portray it, it's not fun. It's just not fun to hear that. It's not, you can't engage with that because then they're just shouting at you and it's just infuriating. And it's not why anyone plays the game. So that's what I have to say about that.
All right, check us out. No, that was great. I think that was great, and I hope people can learn from that. Otherwise, do you want to start with any particular game, or should we kind of let questions guide us, maybe?
Well, both of our teams are tied for first.
Let's go. Both with easy 1 goal wins by a goal, but
Guaita. 3 points for Guaita.
God. Dude, yeah, I mean, that was part of... I think Palace's season projections from some of the like statty people was like their defense isn't that good, but Guaita had like an insane worldy season last season. Can he do it again? And then he comes out and does that, and it's like
great.
He's good. He's really good. He's just really good.
Yeah, what a fucking luck sack we are to have him, dude. I'm telling you, watching him play every week compared to so many of the bad goalkeepers in the division is such a pleasure. It's just such a joy.
There's so many bad goalkeepers.
So many bad keepers.
It's really crazy, actually.
Pickford. Unreal. He's unreal.
England's number 1.
How many times does a ball come into his area and he runs in a circle? Yeah. Like he fake out, goes for it,
out,
and then
runs
he comes back. Yeah, he runs forward. He's like... And then it just like sails over. It's insane.
He at least made the one big save. Like Kepa just Kepa'd.
Well, Kepa's,
he's another level.
Why don't we do questions and then we can kind of
I mean there are a few like teams where there are some questions grouped up and stuff, so that'll guide us, I think. So let's just start with Leeds. RB said, who should we target from Leeds? And D Condal said, I know it's only been a week, but can you... Yeah, it's very close to Luke Cundall. I know it's only been a week, but can you discuss the Leeds United mids? A lot in the same price bracket at 5.5. So, as we were saying, we're waiting the Game Week 1 results with what we projected in preseason. Leeds were supposed to be this, like, amazing, better than Wolves when they came up team who press like crazy, attack like crazy, like all that shit. Like, yeah. Holy shit, that was insane. They're fucking insane. But... From a fantasy perspective, I found myself kind of being like, not sure who I want out of this group. Like, not sure.
Yeah.
Because they really didn't shoot much or like put up numbers or anything. They just kind of like looked really exciting and scored goals.
Yeah. That's the thing with Leeds, right? You see the game and you're like, oh yeah, they're good. Like, they're going to be scoring goals. They're going to be conceding a lot of goals, but they're going to be scoring goals. But it's not a very useful data point watching them play at Anfield for FPL, because those are the exact kind of games that you swerve them for. So I think the Fulham game will be a lot better to kind of learn from. I mean, we know Bamford's fucking donkey, but I mean, Click, whatever, however you say, the Polish guy, Klitsch.
Yeah. I think Harrison to me is if I had to choose one.
See, I like Click. I think he's on pens, unless if Rodrigo takes pens, but I think he's on pens, and I think I liked him a little bit more than Harrison, but I don't think it's worth shot in the dark, like buying one of them just for the Fulham game, because City and a couple and Sheffield United, I mean, they gave up a couple in the first 5 minutes of the game, but then they were Sheffield United. I don't think it's worth going there right now.
Last season they lost away to Fulham 2-1 and beat Fulham at home 3-0 for what it's worth.
They should win 2-0. I mean, they should destroy Fulham. It shouldn't be close.
Yes.
But I don't want to buy a player who I really don't know which of them or any if they're good when they have two really bad ones after. And then they have Wolves. So they have three really bad fixtures after Fulham.
Yeah, in terms of shots last season in the Championship, Harrison and Klitsch were right neck and neck for basically second and third on the team. So, yeah, I mean, they both seem good.
Yeah. Ayling was impressive. We were talking about him.
Ayling was good. Definitely interesting going forward, attacking guy. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like I need to see more. I mean, it's weird. It's almost like they're too good and flowing and fluid that like maybe there isn't a standout guy. It's possible, you know. It's
I think Rodrigo's really interesting to me. You know,
if he starts starting.
Yeah. I mean, he's gonna. They didn't record sign him to back up Bam Bam. You know, it's a matter of when, not if. And the if is if he's gonna be returning. You know,
right?
But you put someone who's actually good in that spot. He should score some goals. 6 million.
Goals. Yeah,
so cheap.
Should be good. And the way they play is just absolutely batshit insane.
Yeah.
Craziest shit I've ever seen. Actually.
Yeah.
So that's that. Leeds. Liverpool next, I guess. Logical. A bunch of people, G Babinas, TJC, C-Tyke, Dadlad, all wondering about ditching Mo for Mane. Ditching Mo or ditching Mane for Bruno or someone else, or ditching Mane for Mo or keeping Mo. And then Decorous said, do you think Liverpool fixtures justify everyone shipping out Mo and Mane? I've always thought of them as fixture proof. So basically all the same questions about keeping them and everything. And I think it's interesting because everyone, well, not everyone, not even close to everyone, but a lot of people who listen to our pod were kind of in that group of like, gonna start with a premium, Liverpool mid, transfer them to maybe my captaincy or to a City guy for game week 2 because the fixtures are really bad. And then Mo Haddies, and everyone's like, can't get rid of Mo, right? I don't know.
I mean, I think, yes, you shouldn't and can't get rid of Mo if you have him,
really?
Because that game is like when he scores 40 goals in a season. Like, that's not a game he did last year more than 3 times.
Oh, yeah.
He had a fucking 1,000 shots.
Yeah.
I mean, there were a couple of times when he was just like, couldn't get the ball out of feet in the box when it was like a possible chance crease. Like, when he looks like that, you don't sell the player. Like, I understand having the plan going into the season and like, yes, cool. Like, okay, double switch with this guy, free up $1 million, whatever, to Bruno. Okay, cool. But when he looks like that, you don't sell him. I don't get that. Like,
he had 21 touches in the box, 9 shots, and 8 of them were in the box.
And the other thing that's really frustrating are I'm seeing people like, oh, well, his non-pen XG was only like 0.4. So I'm just like, okay, dude, like, cool. But when you watch the game and he's living in the box and is like just a half touch away from points 7 other times that don't show up in the non-pen XG like number. Like if you watch the fucking game, like he's insane. Like he was unplayable. He was fucking ridiculous. So I think when that happens, you adapt and you're like, okay, I'm going to give him a little bit because he's doing this thing right now.
But
and
I mean,
it's
just to talk about the XG just for a literal half second, like, people don't understand. It's frustrating for me because I've been trying to like push it, and we do the firesides with like Kaylee and Goodman and all that shit, and we use it every pod, but people still don't have no idea how to use it or what it means. 0.42 per game is really, really good. Like the best players will do like Mo all of last season 0.64 per game, and he's in it for Golden Boot. You know, Vardy wins Golden Boot 0.56 per game, non-penalty.
Yeah.
Like, that 0.42 is really good. Like, if you do that every game, you're one of the 10 best attackers in the league. So, you know, that also. But, no, I mean, the thing with me is, I think if you're getting rid of him for a captain, and that was your plan going in, that's kind of your captaincy spot, and you're going to OBS, so you want a captain, I think it's totally fine. I honestly do. I don't think it's fine. I would go Mo Dobbs and captain him. I think Mo versus away Chelsea, home Arsenal's still pretty bad, and I'm not captaining him either.
I don't think that's fine. But I don't know a team that would do that and doesn't have another captaincy option. But I don't think that
it's sort of like my team, right? If I had Mo instead of Mane, because my whole plan was
Tony.
Yeah, my whole plan was going to be captain Tony against Palace, but Palace,
so you don't need to do shit.
Palace look good,
dude. Come on. We played fucking Southampton. We're like half cooked, and we could have lost that game 1-2.
I know, but I expected the defensive side to just be shambolic and just like
Millie will probably come in next game, so it'll be bad.
If Millie's in, then there's a pen.
Whatever. We're good. I take your point though, but okay. But even still, I just don't. I don't think you see that performance from your player when you get rid of him. I don't agree with that. I think that also comes back to what we talked about a lot. About lessons learned about you don't remove good players for you remove bad players. Like this isn't a problem in your team, you know, and you can pick another captain in your team. Like you take a hit and keep him and do something else. I get that the next couple of fixtures aren't that good for him, but they had 3 pens last season. Manchester United had 35. Like if they get 7 pens, Mo's going to have a 30-goal season.
Yeah. So, I don't disagree with that.
I mean, he had 2. Like it's just he looks so good.
No, I'm not. Good. I was the fucking wearing my Mo shirt that Bug got me on the couch. You know, you don't have to tell me about fucking Mo, but like, I still just don't want him for Chelsea and Arsenal, and think those are really bad, especially this version of Arsenal where the upside is just very low to me, and I just get him back. I just get him straight back. Like that. You could do. To me, that's the plan. It's like. My team is fucked because I'm a fucking horrible FPL manager, but most people don't have 2 non-playing players in their team like me with Ollie and Pulisic, and they can just do Mo to Obs or Mo to Kev or whatever, and then get them right back for an insane fixture run, and just
I don't know.
Be happy.
See this, but this is also right. I mean, this is why I just don't play that way of rotating around your premiums, because when I see the player playing well. The fixtures mean so much less to me, like the premium players, where I'm just like, with Mo, okay, they're not good on papers, but the team's really good, and they could still score 2 or 3 in either of those games. Yeah. And I see that, like, those pictures in my head, so much more important than, you know, getting the other guy, and then I see the issues in my team. Right, he's not an issue in my team. So
I don't think it's an issue in anyone's team. Yeah, for sure.
And that's what we talked about, like the plan, right? Like, I'm not doing this, like, Mo to Kev to Mo to Raz to Mo to like that's not what I'm doing. I'm not good at that. I never have played that way, and I don't see the game that way. Right. Like I'm interested in finding more Trossards. Like that's what I do. You know, so
I went into the season wanting to play that game and then play that way, and then I just picked Pulisic and Ollie. So joke's on me. I can't. Not only can I not move my premium player, I have to move my fucking mid-price mids. It's just
it happened.
But yeah, so a rare where we're just on totally different sides of something. But that's the status. Listener, make your own decision.
Well, the correct decision is probably option C, which we haven't even come up with.
Which is what?
I don't know. Something else. We're probably both wrong.
Yeah, okay. Manchester clubs, couple of questions. Bodie said, not getting too ahead of ourselves after the first week, but how do we feel about a rested United and City going to 2 matches against teams with a full game under their belts?
Yeah. See, very well worded question.
Yeah.
Because
Bodie, shout out to Bodie. Great new addition.
Yeah. Good job by you. I don't understand hits and panic stations to get these guys in. Wolves are fantastic, and we were fairly competent. So what is the rush? Like, it's one fucking game, and everyone's taking these hits to get these players, and I just don't understand it. It's like people are like dead ending, or like they're. I don't get it. You know, the first game is always a bit of a fuckery, and there's not much to lose by just waiting a game to just let them go do the thing and get the rust off, you know? And everyone's taking all these good players out for, you know, the guys that are coming in game week 1, game week 2, and when they're going to be playing it, they've, you know, kind of tough fixtures, both of them. So I don't really get
Palace,
it. You know, if
Palace are one of my... that performance changed my mind more than most other teams' performances. And I know it was just Southampton and whatever, and Guaita had to make 2 huge saves, but like...
Dude, we're going to be good. We're good.
Yeah, no, they were...
this year.
Palace was just normal, really solid, frustrated the fuck out of Southamptham, who just couldn't create anything. They had 2 chances and Guaita saved both, and then...
And that was the thing we were talking about in Discord. I think there was one game last year where we went up 1-0 in the first half.
And United...
We just killed the game from minute 20.
United aren't good against buses. Like, they're better since Bruno got there, but they ended the season really badly, and Sevilla did them, and like, you know what I mean? I still don't think this is like a 4-0 on paper. Of course, a 4-0 is possible, but going into the season, like I said earlier, I was like, cool, I'm going to captain Tony against Palace, who are playing Kouyaté at center back, and Dan, and fucking Mitchell, and Ward. And I'm like, I feel amazing about that. And then after 1 week, I'm just like, fucking Palace are still Palace. And boy, it's incredible. And I'm just like, fuck, now I don't want to captain Tony. So that's, I mean, that was Hemming's question. He said, how many Man United shall we get until, the wording of this question is, how Man United shall we get after the Eagles looked okay?
Yeah, that's a hem dog. I still feel like you can captain Tony and do the things with confidence,
and Bruno probably is fine.
Yeah, but I'm not selling premium assets for that right now. Like, I value the flexibility of saving, having 2, like maybe triple move hit someone in, you know, I just don't think that it's not like you're chasing this, oh my God, like their form team playing home against like the worst team in the league and you need a hit to get them in right now.
If that's
what everyone's playing Fulham, like, and it's not like that.
If that was Fulham or even like Leeds, I would captain Tony 100%. I'd be like, oh my God, this is going to be destruction. Yeah.
It's too much. It's really too much for me. I don't know. Don't get it.
Everton, a couple questions. Nick said, amazing DCL shout. Let's go. What do we think about the other Everton players? Rich had a lot of chances and thoughts on James. And then Matt J, long question. He said, I'm seeing a lot on Twitter along the lines of, DCL scored, but Rich's stats were through the roof. Having watched the game, my response is, but Rich floundering chances is the only reason they didn't win by more. DCL isn't leaving my squad before West Brom anyway, so the question is, how do you weigh that? It looks like Rich will get plenty of chances, but he's an inconsistent player.
Yeah, Everton were what we thought they would be. You know, they took care of business.
Yeah, we did nail that, to our credit. And
I mean, DCL, 7 million. He's Jim this season.
Yeah.
He's going to be a long-term hold for sure. You know, that kind of player.
Yeah, he didn't put up the stats, but they could have created a lot more. And
he was active.
And it's their worst fixture in the first 4. That's what I kept saying in Slack. It's like, this is the one where I'm like, fuck, he has to play against a Mourinho team, and then he has West Brom, Palace, Brighton. And it's like, great. But
then after Liverpool, he has Southampton, Newcastle.
Right. Rich is so frustrating.
He's just
he's
not a good FPL pick.
No,
that's all I have to say about it.
I mean, I still think, like, okay, he went from 150 to 165 points, like 13 goals each season. Like, he's going to get his points. But trying to predict when or how that's officially impossible. because he can have his like 8 good chances or whatever and fuck them all up, but then the next game he can score like 2 from outside the box, and he's just so inconsistent. You get him and you just hold him, and he's going to get your points. Like, there's no doubt in my mind he's going to get double-digit goals and some assists, and especially if the team's better. But like,
I don't know about some assists. Maybe 3.
Yeah, he went from 3 to 5. He went from 8 to 3 to 5, actually. But like, yeah, they're just a good team, and they're so much better a team than they were the last 2 seasons. So he'll get his. They're both. I thought that Rich. In the first 15 minutes, I was like, okay, Rich is officially a really bad pick because he's playing super wide and tracking back and all that shit. But then for the majority of the rest of the game, he was second striker for sure. So, yeah, I mean, they're both good. Honestly, I think they're both good.
Yeah, no, Rich, I agree, definitely was playing wide and then came in. And I just, at $8 million, I guess you could have these little periods where you want to maybe double on them, but I don't think he's going to ever be worth $1 million more than DCL at any point.
I totally agree, but what about him versus like Ings? It's like, I don't know. Yeah,
I don't know yet.
Rich will get points through the season.
I don't know yet. No, but because I don't know what Rich is going to be positionally. Throughout the season, like he could definitely change and play like he did, on the wing.
Yeah.
And he's kind of a reverse out of position player to me still. Like DCL's still the center forward, and Rich is the auxiliary man. So, Ings has pens. Jim has pens. When you're looking at that 8 million, 8.5 bracket and forwards, Rich is definitely, not jumping out to me. And I just don't. I don't see it.
I saw more positives than you did. The misses were horrible, and he's frustrating, and the howlers and whatever. But like, he still had 7 shots, was really active in the box all the time.
What about James? I thought James was really good.
He was so good.
He's really good.
Like,
he's a really good player.
Yeah, he's just a really good player. But
yeah,
I still think like he's not going to score many goals. I don't think.
One thing I noticed was 10. Dean. Yeah, Dean was taking set pieces too, and I thought he was going to kind of take all the left-footeds, and he wasn't. That was worrying because he's the player for FPL that you need the avenues, and not having that was not great. Mm-hmm. He had a couple shots outside the box, but it's tough because he's not like that late runner. He's not going to have a lot of.
He's not like that.
He's not going to have a lot of shots in the box that are really like good chances. He's going to be scoring these like worldy curlers from just outside the area, which is not that reliable. If he could be like a 5-12 player, like
that's
5
what I was
goals,
thinking
12 assists or something.
That's what I think I said something like that. Like, I remember I was reading like Callahan stats, and I was like, he finished like 3 and 10. Like, that's his floor. I think he'll probably be around between like 3 and 5 and 10 and 15. His ceiling is like 9 and 20. Like that is in the realm of
definitely
possibility.
possible.
Yeah, he's not gonna be like you're never gonna captain him.
No,
for like a brace, but he doesn't have that kind of potential. But he's
no.
God, the improvement in quality between him and Alon and flashes to Corey a little bit.
Gomes.
It's just like they're
that
good.
That was a big takeaway just watching the game, that Everton are really good, and I don't think you can have too many Everton players for this little run coming up. You're going to be a little frustrated because they're going to kind of figure out who's playing, like how to play with each other. But other than Liverpool game week 5, West Brom, Palace, Brighton, Southampton, Newcastle, and then even they have Man United, then they have Fulham and Leeds, like Burnley. They have really good fixtures for a while. So, I definitely think James is a good pick, like we were talking about last episode, right? About just getting on early because we
basically just need to see he's fit, and like saw
he's
that.
fit. Like he was everything goes through him, so. He's going to get assists, and I'm sure he's going to be like a Kevin type guy where with assists are probably worth 4, 5, 6 points, not 3.
Yeah.
So,
he was second in the week in key passes to Ryan Fredericks of all people. But he was like, he had a hand in everything. If Rich didn't have just like a nightmare finishing game, he ends up with 2 assists and probably max bones.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. Good to see that. And then Chelsea, we got a few questions too. Simple Mug. Lampard's setup was less than ideal for us Havertz boys. Do we just hope and pray that Frank realizes he need to change things up against Poole? Can I get a hell yes? Said Chelsea new boys look like they need some time to gel. Should we start offloading them and get them later in the season or hold? And Doty said Pulisic, what do we do? So a lot to take in for Chelsea.
Yeah, it was a tough watch.
Yeah, it was,
tough watch.
They put up 0.5 non-penalty XG against Brighton. And that's not good. And Timo had literally all of it, so you hate to see that.
They were just terrible. I mean, it was a terrible performance.
Really bad.
He got completely outmanaged by Potter.
Yeah.
Brighton were the better team in open play. Not even close.
Yeah, not close.
I mean, the one thing we were talking about is that Chelsea were playing with the lead for the entire game, so they might have been a little bit more turtley than they could have done otherwise if it was still... 0-0 or tied or they were down. They were down for 20 seconds and then they came in and scored right away.
Right,
so.
like if you're turtling though, if you're turtling and still conceding big chances, then it's not working and you should change something. It's like that was very like Steve Brucey of Frank. That whole setup.
Very fair. Jorginho, Conte, Ruben, Mount, not good.
Conte, I thought was great actually.
All of them in the game at the same time, just not good. Not good enough.
No, there just wasn't enough, Nate said it as soon as the lineup came out. He was like, this is weird. They have no pace. Except Timo, of course.
It screamed after, you're watching for 15-20 and it's like, he probably should have played Tammy with Werner and sat one of those fucking fuckheads.
Or Cho. He legit played with no wingers. He was just like, Timo, go run around, do everything.
Yeah. Bad. So it's a problem. Franklin is going to be Franklining himself all year. And if he's too Franklin, then it's bad for FPL because he's going to make the picks worse than they should be. That said, right? I mean, if Ziyech coming back, Pulisic coming back, get the draw. Dude, Ruben Loftus-Cheek, what the fuck? Horrible. Actual 1 out of 10 performance. Don't know what he was doing. Yeah,
it's always a danger to assume rational coaching and rational decisions. And this isn't me poking holes at Frank. That's the way with every manager. Like fantasy managers run into that all the time, right? Like. It seems obvious to us. Yeah, like this guy's got to start up top. He's on fire. And then nope, he's not starting because he showed up late to training and we didn't know about it. It's like random shit like that all the time. My assumption going in, and I know it's special circumstances, no Pulisic, no Ziyech. They probably won't play next week also, so bad. But my assumption going in was Frank sees himself in Kai. Kai's going to be second striker. Kai's going to play the RLC role from the Brighton preseason game. Be in the box. Be the shoot. And no. Kai plays fucking right midfielder. And RLC is support striker. Ross is support striker. And Kai is just fucked off to nowhere land. And it's just holy shit, dude.
Yeah. It's embarrassing.
70 really, whatever fucking billion on Kai. And you literally get him to cover for Reece James. That was his role.
It was embarrassing. It was just embarrassing from Franklin.
Yeah, so it's very scary. I mean,
I wish they lost so that people would talk about it. That's the problem.
So badly that they lost
because they could have lost that game. Dwong hits that. They're up. Then Brighton's up 2-1.
Sitter. Yeah, Reece James 1 in a trillion shot.
So this is the other thing, right? We're talking about Mo and Mane, right? Team's not good right now. Chelsea looks not good.
Right.
They play each other. I don't see a world where Liverpool don't walk this game.
Yeah, you say that now, but the games were really close and competitive last season in a season where Liverpool were by far the best team in the league.
Yeah, but I'm still just looking at what they did against Brighton and Zuma, Christensen. I mean, Dave will come back in probably, and it's just, I don't know. They were the least impressive performance of any team I saw. I thought Spurs were way better.
Well,
Chelsea.
I mean, aside from
half.
like Fulham, West Brom, West Ham.
No, of like the teams that we care about.
Oh, okay. It's like there's some pretty bad
like
teams.
Of the team, the teams that we're talking about in FPL.
The
picks,
teams
right?
with FPL guys.
Yeah, Chelsea were like, oh yeah, Chelsea like so good, like blah blah blah. He's playing Kai at right back. He says, "What are you doing?" It
was utterly
reversing
insane.
Everything. It was so nuts. It
and then the
so
Pulisic shit was just such a fucking nut punch, dude. It was just, it was such a welcome back to FPL in like every sense of the word. It's just like Pooley 100% fit, back in training. People are saying he's like Chelsea athletic. People being like, I think he starts. Like, I think he gets minutes. Like, blah blah blah. We find out after
definitely
the game,
features.
He felt something actually in training and wasn't even in the fucking squad. And now now I'm just like, oh, cool, yeah, okay,
yeah. I mean, he's a problem because he's actually injured still. I want to come back just to Kai though for a second because he was playing right back, which is fucking disgusting. They play West Brom, Palace, Southampton after Liverpool. He is so good. Like I seeing people getting rid of him, I think it's an egregious overreaction mistake. I believe in him fully, and I think it's just premature to get rid. And I think that the points are going to he's going to fall into points because he's so good. He finds space. I mean, he was basically all he was allowed to do today was pass to Reece James on an overlap, but he's going to not play that position for the season. And I think if you have him in your team...
What makes you say that, though?
Because he's just so good. I don't think that Franklin's going to do the Franklins. Like, I'm okay to do it, like, watch a few more games. I'm not, like, preempting that, okay, he's going to play the best player on the team at right back anymore. Like, I'm not, like, convinced enough that that's going to happen to get rid of him right now.
Yeah.
And I just think that, his quality is going to come through and that he's going to eventually... within the next couple of games, be like, maybe Frank watches the game. He's like, oh my God, like the $90 million player we just bought, I'm not going to play at right back. I'm not going to play as a decoy so Reece fucking James can overlap. Yeah. Maybe he'll think that.
Yeah, maybe the analytics department will come back with that.
Hope so.
But yeah, no, I'm fine holding him. Like you said, the fixtures are so good. It's not encouraging in the slightest. And I think if he plays there... Well, the Liverpool game you kind of almost have to throw away because they're going to set up some specific way to try and shut down Liverpool and nick a goal or something. But if he plays that way against West Brom...
Yeah, and then you get rid.
Then you fucking run for the hills.
Then you fuck them
off. That's a major problem. But yeah, I mean, this team is missing two of their 4 stars in attack. So... It is hard to judge them, but like it was.
I mean, they had 4. They have Chilwell, Tilva, Ziyech, Pulisic. Yeah. I mean, those are starters. So they had 7.
It's still embarrassing, but like when the wingers come in, the attack should be a lot better.
I just don't understand how like Cho is like for like with Ziyech. He's just so much worse, but just don't play Ruben. Like play fucking Cho and put Kai in his normal spot.
I don't understand.
It's so easy. It's so simple. It's so fucking simple.
Would love to be able to ask those kind of questions. Like,
I mean, Ruben was getting in. He just fucked everything up. But if that was Kai in the first half,
I mean, God,
out of sight.
3-0,
out of sight.
Actual
out
game
of sight.
set match. Yeah,
so fucked up.
No,
dude.
it was really really bad. I should say there's also a chance that Brighton are like kind of good. Like. Their range of finishes is like relegation to like 12th.
So not relegation.
I think it's in their range. I mean, they were right there last season, and
Fulham and West Brom are down. There's only one team that's going to get
It's
relegated.
Unlikely, but it's within the range. But like the upside is like 12th or something, and they're like a pretty decent team. Like they might be a pretty decent team. Like they had moments where they were good.
Lallana can't even play fucking half.
What did he play? 42 minutes or something? Yeah, Grace tweeted like something along the lines of like, it's good to get like vets who are good at stuff and blah blah blah, but it should be pretty easy to filter out the vets that constantly get injured. And it's just like, is that where you want to like hang your hat on Lallana's fitness? I'm not sure. other than that, there's some scattered questions. Do you want to talk about any other specific teams? I mean, everything's a talking point when it's like game week 1.
Do you want to talk about Vardy at all, or just leave it alone?
I mean,
like Ings disappointed. I mean, Jim was good.
Southampton, like the difference between Southampton and Leicester, just as an example in my head, is like Southampton were like bad and like struggled to create everything with all of the ball.
Yep.
And Romeu seems like a big problem. He's fucking terrible at what Ralph wants a central midfielder to do. Yep. But Leicester kind of just ran the team out that was for most of the season in top 4. Everyone who's fit, with Castagna doing a good, Chilwell impression or whatever. And they were just better than one of the worst teams in the league and just did stuff. Like, yeah, Vardy didn't get a shot off in open play. It's frustrating that he gets 2 pens, but that happens when you're on pens. Like, that shit happens for everyone on pens. But, they're just kind of good. Wolves are good, too. I thought Wolves played pretty well, too. Jim looked fucking amazing. Like, these teams that have no changeover... Like, we shit on Braj all the time, right? And I'm totally into shitting on him. But we're shitting on him in comparison to, like, where he puts himself, which is, like, elite world manager. But compared to, like, 50% of the league, he's so much better than all of them. And his teams just do the stuff and are pretty good every year, and like they'll probably be 5th or 6th again. So, yeah. I don't have much else to say about those teams, I don't think.
I want to come over to Newcastle because
there's also Arsenal. We didn't talk about that.
Yeah. Callum was good.
He got his huge chance, which is like it's his weird thing that he does is only get huge chances. Don't get medium chances. Don't get small chances. Only get like 0.7 xG chances.
Yeah, I mean, if they're going to be playing with him next to Carroll, he's going to probably get points, Yeah. And they have Brighton, which is a good one, but then they have a few tough ones. I think that there's going to be... I mean, I'm looking down at the fixtures because, Newcastle's certainly not someone that you're going to hold and set and forget. You need to play the fixtures with them, but...
Yeah, I mean, they have 4 in a row that you don't want to start them.
I mean, 6 in a row. Wolves and Everton are bad, too. I think it's like down in, like, November, like game week 10 or something. I think Callum is like the kind of player that is going to do really shitty and nothing when they play these good teams because he's fucking bad. But like that game against West Ham, right? He could have had a couple returns. Mm-hmm. And I think when they have the good fixture run, that's going to be something we're going to forget about. And I just want to just say it out loud because he's going to be able to get some points because chances are going to be created with the skill players behind him.
Yeah.
Especially when Carroll's playing next to him. Too.
When they had Fraze,
yeah, especially if they're going to keep Carroll playing next to him, who's taking up all of the center back attention. Callum's going to be a good pick, I think, for little periods. Definitely, again, right, not like a Barnes who just gets, good chances no matter who they play on the counter. Like Newcastle, I fully expect to get bossed to fuckland against Spurs and United and Wolves and shit. You don't want a piece of that.
No, they'll have 20% of the ball in all of those games. Yeah.
So, but I was really impressed with Callum. Maybe he just revitalized going somewhere new and shit.
Yeah, and Bruce weirdly, they were so bad and defensive all of last season and just sort of lucking into results with center back goals and shit, but maybe he's just going for an attacking way to play. It certainly seems that way with the lineups he's picking and stuff like that, and they're just going for goals. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Bruce Ball.
Yeah. Okay, and then Arsenal, do you have any words on Arsenal? I mean, I thought they were pretty impressive, but Fulham are really bad.
I mean, they were fine. They get to play West Ham next week, so that's fine as well.
West Ham are also bad.
Also bad. I didn't really think Arsenal were good. I thought Fulham were bad.
I thought Arsenal were actually good, and Willian was really good. And on the counters and stuff like that, they're just so fluid and good. It kind of reminds me of the Wenger counters. From back in the day.
I think Fulham are flattering to deceive there.
It's very possible.
Yeah, I need to see Arsenal against a real team before I can start thinking that they're going to be scoring consistently on counters and shit. I thought Fulham were that bad. Like, I think against another good team, I mean, Arsenal maybe score a goal.
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to pull up this tweet, but it was a good one. It was the Goodman tweet about it was, he said, Arsenal womping Fulham shouldn't be notable, but last year Arsenal didn't womp anybody, especially away from home. So that's like...
Yeah, but what are you comparing them to, like, some dog shit piece of shit team? Like, I don't care about that.
No, but it's like, the point is, they couldn't do this against the worst teams in the Premier League last season.
Yeah.
No matter what. Like, put up 2-0 XG and just score three goals and just coast. So that's good. Gabriel was good. Yeah, they might be better.
I thought, I was very unimpressed, honestly.
Okay.
I thought Fulham I was just like watching them, I'm like, wow, they have really bad players on their team.
Yeah, they're
Fulham.
really, really bad. And they didn't start their one good player in Mitrovic.
Yeah. No, I was just like, Fulham are firefighting from minute 2. And it's a joke.
Yeah. That was a problem.
Yeah.
All right, there's only a few questions, 6 questions. So let's just bang these out maybe and then do our team's captains and get out of here.
Yeah.
So these two kind of go together. Cammy said, naturally, we tend to chat a lot about guys who return, but of the guys that didn't return, who impressed you and who you're keeping an eye on? And Rory said, has Game Week 1 started to give you a feeling on some assets and teams we overlooked, and conversely, some assets and teams we might have been wrong on?
I mean, I think we covered some of that.
I don't have anyone else like at the top.
I think Jim is like,
he was so good.
Yeah, we've perennially blind spot with Jim. I think
he's great just pick. So good.
He's just a great player. Great player. Great pick.
Yeah, I mean, depending on how Chelsea go, like. Well, I don't even want to entertain that. Never mind. Tom said, I know it's hard to say with only 1 week of games, but what do you make of Wolves' attack? I own Jota in a draft league. I worry about him not starting. And Jota, that's problematic. We need to see. But, yeah, Podence is really fucking good. Like, God, if he's starting every week, that 5-5 spot is just so locked up, right?
Yeah. I mean, like, Jota went to Portugal. So, I mean, in my head, I was like, this makes him more sure to start because he's going to be good and fit and firing, but maybe he was just leggy. I don't know.
Yeah.
But they have City, which is shit, but then they have a fucking silly run. West Ham.
That's part of the reason I was saying, Fulham. Like, I want a wild card in Game Week 3 if I'm wild carding, because I want triple Wolves.
And I mean, this is part of the reason why I started with the Jota, is I was like, there's a world where he's just an amazing pick. And I wanted to be part of that world. I mean, he might just not start against City, and I have to just get rid of him immediately. But
Jim is amazing. Whoever starts with him is going to be insane value. Jota 6'5", Podence 5'5", Neto 5'5".
Yeah.
One of them is going to be fucking amazing in all of our teams, possibly, if they're just like the regular starter. I hope it's Podence because he's so good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Puck Gremlin, have your thoughts on an early wildcard change at all after Game Week 1? No, it still seems pretty good. Haim, how do you identify actual bad picks versus a hold that blanked?
There's so much that goes into that, honestly. I think
it's different for every single player, but
the context matters.
Yeah, it's a combo of eye tests, stats, where they played positionally, like tactics of the team, fixtures, all that shit.
Yeah, like Vardy, 13 points.
0 shots in open play.
Get rid yesterday,
Yeah.
But James, like, blanks. Like, you watch the game, you're like, oh, okay, like, good fixture. Like, he's good. You hold, right? Like, those are the kind of things.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And then lastly, Tom, again, he said, are there any low to mid-price mids that stood out that could replace Saka if his minutes don't increase? Thank you. So, we mentioned Podence.
Yeah, we talked about Leeds. We talked about.
Yeah, Leeds. I guess so. Is there anyone else? I mean,
5-5, like, no, not really.
I mean, Tross is 6-0, if you can get there.
So I don't, think he's going to keep getting points. I mean, he was a very peripheral figure once Lallana got injured, and he went out. I mean, he created the chance to donk, but he wasn't, shooting or anything. I mean, Brighton were kind of fucked. Maybe they just destroyed Newcastle, and it was just because they were playing a good team.
Mm-hmm.
But, then they play Man United, Everton, tough fixture. Fixtures aren't great for them. So
yeah, I'm looking around
through
the cheap guys. I'm not really seeing much aside from who we mentioned, like a Leeds guy who at Fulham or Podence, who we're not even sure is nailed. So
yeah, I'm not. We know he's not nailed.
Well, he might be nailed.
Yeah, but we don't know.
Okay, that's it for questions. Light on questions, and there are a lot of more questions, but a lot of them would just make both of us very upset. So this is part where we talk about our teams and shit. So yours, I think, is easier. I assume you're holding after an 80-point week, or what are you looking at?
Yeah, no, I'm easy save, and Captain Obs.
And so what are you doing? You're just putting Shaw in for Mitchell and just hoping Jota starts again?
Yeah.
And Mitchell first.
I expect Jota to start. I would be actually stunned if he didn't start.
Really? I wouldn't be stunned.
Yeah, I would be stunned. Because I think I read today, 0 minutes, as Leggy tired from Portugal, didn't train.
But I feel like if it was 0-0, he probably does get minutes.
I don't know.
All the subs were very defensive is why I say that,
Maybe. I think he's I have time for him. I could see myself holding him for a little while. He starts against City, I could see myself holding him through this good run.
Yeah, I mean, if he starts
till November.
You definitely hold if he starts. Yeah. I'm just not sure. I feel like it'll be more of a I think there's just as much chance Podence starts again. You got
but Neto, come on, dude.
But they might not play 3 up top against City.
So that's why I think he's going to go back to 3-5-2, business as usual with him next to Jim, just how they always have done for the last 3 years.
And I'm saying it might be Podence and Jim.
Yeah, no, it definitely might be.
Might be Adama and Jim who braced last time they played.
And then Burr plays right wing back. I don't know about that, but. Either way, I don't know, but I'm definitely going to find out. I'm going to hold. I'm not going to fucking get rid of him.
That's fine.
Yeah. But I mean, he's someone I'm thinking about Trossard after Newcastle. That's the spot I want to play with. And Aubameyang's gone after West Ham. He could score 8 goals. I don't care. And so those are the 2 spots I'm going to play with. Probably. Maybe I'm going to take a hit. Maybe I'll do a triple move. I don't know. I mean, maybe fucking Man United by fuckboy and Shaw's a piece of shit, and I have to do something about that. I don't know.
That would just not be fun at all.
Yeah,
I really hate the fucking window still being open. It's so stressful.
So what about you with Ollie and Pulisic?
So, I mean, to be honest, I've spent as little time as possible thinking about it because it's just such a triggering nightmare. But I should probably get rid of both. I mean, before the Pulisic situation today, I was thinking Ollie to James, maybe Ollie to Kai, maybe just Mane to Kev, whatever. But now it seems like Pulisic is almost a bigger deal than Ollie because who the fuck knows?
What about Mahrez and James?
I've thought about Mahrez actually.
Because that seems good.
I think with Mahrez, not that Pep ever tells the truth in press conferences, but I need to actually know what the rules of quarantining are and shit, because he actually had COVID 7 days ago. So
yeah,
with him, it's a very distinct
about that.
Yeah, for him, it's a very distinct you're allowed to play or not allowed to play, which I don't know the answer to.
That's FFP. Are we going to get banned from Champions League?
Yeah,
we paid the NHS enough money so Mahrez can play.
Yeah, I hope Mahrez just comes out with glasses, fake mustache, and it was no, this is Fernan Torres. Don't you remember?
This is fine.
So I need to wait and see. I have thought about Mahrez because I do want to go to City. I don't know, man. I don't know.
Okay.
Do you agree that Pulisic is well, okay, so like I said earlier, I would rather wildcard next week because of the fixture swing, mostly for City and Wolves. I'd feel so much better about tripling up on both if they weren't playing each other. But maybe that's not a good reason to not wildcard.
Well, I think one big thing is, do you feel comfortable with the amount of money you have in defense? And then the other thing is...
Well, let me answer that first, which is... I would feel comfortable if my midfield wasn't a mess. It's all the midfield.
Midfield.
It's all the midfield. Like, if things.
I mean, you should be able to find three midfielders.
If they played and blanked and just played, if Pulisic subbed on and played 20 minutes and Ollie just subbed off on 75 minutes instead of 45 minutes, I would almost 100% just do either Mane to Obbs and captain or Mane to Kev and captain Tony. And I would feel totally fine with my team. That was the entire plan going forward.
Yeah.
Were you just kissing me, or what just went down right there?
I don't know. I was just doing some stuff. I was trying something new.
Oh, okay. But yeah, so they didn't play. Pulisic didn't play, and Ollie got thrown under the bus at 45 minutes. So,
because if you're going to wild card, then you're obviously not hitting. Like, that's terrible.
You mean next week?
Yeah, you're not hitting now to wild card next week. You're never making that up.
You're not telling me what to do. Yeah, I mean, I already missed point one if I were to wild card because there were some price changes already, but I don't care. I don't know. Team's a nightmare. It's so bad.
I think you should feel a lot better about captaining Tony than you do.
And stick to that plan?
Yeah.
What do you think I should do with my midfield, though? I mean, okay, I have 3 playing bench players, so it's not the end of the world, I guess, if Pooley misses one more match. If there's any indication
you cannot hold him.
Okay.
Because that's the kind of thing where, like, remember when Martial last year was like, Ole was like, he's playing next week, and he was out for like 3 months.
And Pulisic next year. Last year.
No, like, you cannot hold Pulisic. So he's definitely more urgent than Ollie.
I think they're both urgent.
Yeah, no, but I think that that's a fine hit, and you're not that near wild carding. I think that you're okay to hold off on wild card.
Okay. Well, yeah, I mean, Hammers is definitely in my thoughts because I think he is that sort of glue guy. Yeah. Like, I think he's the sort of 7-5 that you just ticks. He's just absolute tick merchant all the way, creating all of their chances on a good team. The other guy I don't know. I'd have actually 9 for that spot. If I did Pooley and Ollie out.
I mean, that's why Mahrez is interesting to me.
Yeah, Mahrez is very interesting there. Don't really know. Yeah. No one else, like, immediately screaming out to me, to be honest.
What if you went Bruno and a cheaper guy?
Could do that.
What does that afford you for the second player?
If I go Bruno, then a 6-0.
I like that. I think I like that more. I'm getting 2, like,
But I don't consider Mahrez an I just don't know if he's legally legal. I don't know if he's legal alien or not. But yeah, Bruno, he's good.
Got a Leeds guy?
Yeah, Bruno and Harrison or some shit. I mean, Bruno's next 2 fixtures are Palace and Brighton. Pretty good. And then Spurs, then Newcastle.
Like, having Bruno and Tony is pretty good.
Yeah. A couple nice guys to just
I mean, I think that's where I think that's where you should be focusing your attention is, what 2 midfielders for, 18 million or whatever.
How am I in this position? It's unreal, man. Unreal.
Yeah.
It's unfucking real that I'm in this position.
It's not great. It
just blows me away. There's no 5-0 midfielders that, like, emerged, right?
No, it was, Hendrick.
Oh, yeah, Hendrick.
Souček's still 5, but
Jimmy Hendrick.
I don't think that's where you want to be.
Well, no, I was just looking to see if I could get Kevin over Bruno, because I much prefer Kevin, but that would only leave me for 5 for the other spot.
Well, but you could also look, because you're already rotating 2 for that 1. Like, maybe that's a 3-way rotation for 2 if you put the midfielder in with Justin.
Oh, I see. Yeah, that's interesting.
GW2.
Yeah, I'll look at that.
Would work.
I'll look at that.
I think, honestly, though, with your team, it's really not in that bad of a shape for getting 40 points. Like, you have a good spine, and it's just a couple of those picks that you need to adjust. So I think if you take a hit or something, that you'll be okay.
Yeah. Famous last words. Just one. Just
I don't
take
know,
one
dude.
hit. It'll solve all
Just
of
one
your
more
problems.
hit.
Yeah, just
one more
hit. I'll be wildcarding next week, I'm sure. I'll hit in these guys, and it'll be a fucking disaster. Yeah, well, like, what are the actual odds of that? I think they're fucking high.
I think that's like 8%.
I'm such a nightmare, dude. Such a nightmare. All these people, no, you're not bad. You you helped me do a good finish. Oh, you say good stuff. You're not bad at like, okay. I can say good shit. I'm fine with you saying that, and I'll take that. But to say I'm not bad is just fucking comedy joke.
It's hard though, because
what we know is a drop. What we don't know is an ocean. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I know. We talk about the games and the procedural things, but when it comes to clicking the buttons and the X's and pluses, it's a different story. Different things take over.
It's crazy how Havertz played actually right back and got the shittiest 2 points ever against Brighton, and my team would be 5 billion times better with him over Pulisic. I wouldn't even be worried. I'd be like, yeah, whatever, it's fine. Just trade out Ollie. Good to go.
Oh, God.
But I picked Pulisic.
Yeah.
He is a fucking joke, Pulisic.
That's
he's a joke.
I know. And
with the injuries.
What I was saying
Grant Hill.
Yeah, actual Grant Hill.
Fuck.
That's what I was saying about before, right? About where is the what's the early wild card? Like, okay, getting Pulisic and he's injured. Right? Like those are the things.
You didn't tell me this before we submitted our game.
Because I know
this to me now.
I know. I'm just saying. I'm sorry, dude. I'm just saying. But for next year,
I love you. For next year, I'm gonna write it down for the fucking post-mortem. Hey, I want to fuck your game week 1 team up.
I'm fucking on all the time, and it was 2 hours before, so don't hang that on me.
I know.
But thinking about that, right? Like that's a good thing. Even with your transfers though, during the season, it's like, where does it go wrong, right? Like where is my team going to go wrong? Can I afford to spend a transfer on my, 5 million defender when I have these 2 question marks in midfield and attack,
Yeah.
Absolutely. Right, get the fucking cancel it. Cancel
absolutely.
The pod. Finish it. Finish this, please.
We got a ton of new signups since last week, so thank you to all of our new Patreon signups. It's a great job by you. I'm sure you'll all be deleting your Patreon patronage soon. I'm gonna just try and round these
I'm gonna do good this year, so people are gonna want to watch.
Yeah, I mean, I hope one of us does well.
I'm doing good so far.
You're flying.
Yeah. So
we had people tweeting, clapping emotes with Trossard and stuff. No mention of Jota, but they're just tweeting, like, well done. Man.
Yeah, it doesn't matter about Jota.
You got to just captain hat-tricks every week, man.
I'm going to do OBS next week. That's my plan.
You're going to do well. What people don't know who were new to the pod last year is that you're good at FPL.
Well.
No.
I mean, no, I'm good, but I'm not, like, good, like compared to the guys that do the scout cast shit or like LR and like
but you're consistently good.
I'm consistently you had
one bad year and you're consistently good.
I'm like Burnley.
No.
Yeah, I finished
Burnley.
Like 12th.
Burnley is like 100K average, where you're like you're hanging around and stuff. Every year you're in and around
10K is my MO.
That's better than you're like Wolves or something.
I don't know.
I think you're just a solid team. Just a solid team. Good players, well-run organization.
No,
anyway, let me slap all these asses. We got Yaniv Raz, Corey Cumming, Omar Murray, Sean, Richard Thwaites, Torsten R. Murphy, Riley Boyd, Bjorn R. Jakobsen, Lucas, Emily Szynski, Anshuman Mitra, Vikram G, Milner, Clarissa Miskelly, Michael Hauser, David Union, Cam Anderson, John Toad, David K. XX Yo-Yo, Garbage Boy, Sharisa Bad, Miko Paloma, David Goodbranson, Aditha Mani, David Sullivan, Connor Lake, Swiss Toast, Andrew Geddes, Michael Hauser, Kyle Heaton, Edmund Cuthbert, Adam Grimshaw, Kate Case, Jack Elwood, Patrick Stromville, Alexis Galitas, Jonathan, David Evans, Matthew Smith, Joel Smith, Robert James Holder, Leonard Solojvez, Masiek Pulska, friend of the pod, Dan Briggs, Mike Davis, Matt Eager. Holy shit, dude. The most we've ever had since, like, we originally made it, I think.
Yeah, I mean, we should be getting more than that.
Boom! Slap the asses of everyone out there. I don't know if this pod was even good. I felt like I was just complaining the whole time.
I don't know. I'm gonna be upset tomorrow when it's Tuesday and we have to wait like 5 more sleeps till more games.
No, see, I'm gonna be happy when it's Tuesday tomorrow because
not happy.
Giants FPL lost. For me,
that's lost.
FPL occurs on like Saturdays and Sundays, right? That's when all the action goes down. Those are the nightmare days for me because it's always bad. But the fun days are Monday through Friday when I just get to like pod and like hope for shit and make transfer, bring new guys in. That's like 5/7 of my week is good, which is probably the reason I still play FPL. But 2/7 of my week when the games are happening, terrible.
Bad. Okay, so we're doing Thursday night.
Yeah, Thursday pod to see. There's like League Thursday Cup and shit, so there might actually be like things. Maybe Pulisic will be.
We should get a Plovdiv Ultra for a guest.
Maybe Pulisic will be 100% fit and train all week.
Yeah, and then feel something.
You think he just wakes up and texts Frank, "I felt something"? All right. Any last words?
No.
Check us out at FMLFPL.com. Follow us on Twitter at FMLFPL. Support us page /FMLFPL. Subscribe, rate, review.
Just text him. I felt
You know, Frank, I felt something last night. Frank's like, ...
You know when you don't text someone like that often and it's like you open it, it's like the date and it's like 3 weeks ago. It's just like Pulisic, like his text chain with Frank is like, I felt something like every 3 weeks or something. And Frank's like, okay.
Frank typing at speech bubble.
And then it goes away.
Like, get him next time,
like,
kiddo. Oh, what a disaster. How did I end up with this fucking team? That'll be the name of the pod, probably.